Maybe you're only cooking for yourself this year. Maybe you have a lot of Thanksgiving leftovers. Either way, today we're gonna make Thanksgiving dinner in a croquette, as well as 2 dipping sauces. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dishes and Fishes, where I show you how to cook and set hooks. You know, for me, Thanksgiving is all about the sides. So today's dish kind of combines everything that we've grown to love about Thanksgiving. The turkey, the potatoes, the gravy, little stuffing flavors in there. And it is a pretty good finger food. And we're also gonna make 2 dipping sauces for it. So let's get started on these turkey pot pie croquettes. So for this dish, we have to make the croquettes, the cranberry sauce, and gravy. And to make gravy, we're gonna start by making chicken stock, which you need to have in your freezer at all times anyway. So I'm gonna show you the best way to make chicken stock at home first. So we're gonna start out with a sheet tray of chicken bones and goo! What is that? Yes, that's a chicken foot, and it makes great stock, or a chicken paw, as the grocery store likes to call it. I have no idea why, but either way, it's $2.43 for this package. And before you use them, you need to just go through and cut off all the nails. You can do this with kitchen shears or a knife. Just take your time, make sure you get them all, because you don't want to miss any. And once you get them all, you're going to put them on a sheet tray with the bones from a chicken. I'm using bones from a rotisserie chicken, and I'm going to coat those things in olive oil to get them roasted off. For my vegetables, I'm using celery, carrots, garlic, shallots, and onion, and I'm leaving the peels on everything. I'm going to do the same thing, toss them in olive oil, and get those things roasted off, because we are making brown chicken stock. The vegetables will be done first. They take about 30 to 40 minutes. The chicken bones take about 50 to 60 minutes, but when they are nice and brown, we're going to take them out, and into a Dutch oven or stock pot, we're going to put our chicken bones. Once the bones are in, we're going to put enough water in to cover them up, and we are going to bring that to a rolling boil. And once it hits a rolling boil, we're going to lower the heat to a simmer and then skim off any of the stuff that floats to the surface to make our stock nice and clean for our final product. I like to put the lid on for the first hour just to preserve all the liquid, and after the first hour, I will add all of my roasted vegetables. In addition, I'm going to add 2 bay leaves to that mixture, and I like to add a container of mushrooms. I think mushrooms and chicken stock are awesome, as well as 1 bunch of parsley. We're going to give that a quick mix and let that simmer on the stove for at least 2 hours until the liquid is reduced by more than half, and the stock is this nice brown color and your house smells really dope. When you have your desired volume of chicken stock, you're going to set it in a couple quart containers in your fridge overnight to cool. While that's cooling off, let's make our cranberry sauce. So we're going to start out with 2 tablespoons of fresh ginger and about half a cup of water. I'm going to add the zest of 1 lemon, as well as the juice from that lemon, and a 12-ounce container of cranberries. Once all those ingredients are in the pot, I'm going to bring them up to a simmer just so the ginger and lemon can cook out a little bit. And once they do, probably about 6-7 minutes, I'm going to crank the heat up to boiling. As soon as this sauce starts to boil, all the cranberries will burst and you will be left with a nice smooth cranberry sauce. To that, I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt and about 3/4 to 1 cup of maple syrup. You can use sugar if you want to as well. And taste this as you go. There's that balance of sour and sweet from the cranberry and sugar. I don't like mine ridiculously sweet, but cranberry sauce is actually pretty good. And this is really, really simple, so give it a try. Alright, time to make the croquettes. So it's the next day, our stock is cooled, and there's this layer of fat on the top of the chicken stock. So we're going to skim that fat off of the chicken stock, and don't you dare think about throwing that fat out. Let's just take a moment and appreciate how jiggly and flavorful this chicken stock is. This is what chicken stock should be. Alright, moving on. So we're going to put our chicken fat and a stick of butter into our pan with 1 diced potato and half a cup of finely diced carrots. And we're going to sweat that down in our pot until they start to become soft. And once they've become softened a little bit, we're going to add half a cup of celery and half a cup of onion and do the same thing. Let those things all sweat down together. We're going to season that with salt and pepper, and then we're going to add 1 to 2 cups of diced turkey and let that get warm together as well. Then our Thanksgiving herbs, a teaspoon of fresh thyme, sage, and rosemary. Continue to sweat that down. Your house should start to smell like Thanksgiving at this point. And then we are going to add 1 cup of flour. And yes, that's a lot of flour, but this is going to bind this all together so we're able to make the croquettes out of it. So stir that around until the flour is incorporated, and we're going to let that cook for about 1 to 2 minutes just to let the flour cook out. And then we're going to add 2 cups of our warmed chicken stock and then mix that around. As you stir that mixture, it should start to tighten up really nice. It should start to smell like turkey pot pie. That's what we're going for. And when it gets to this point, it's pretty much done. I like to finish it with half a cup of peas and half a cup of corn.
and then you have your complete turkey pot pie mixture. We're going to set that mixture on an oiled baking sheet to cool off. Make sure you spread it out into a layer so it cools a little bit faster, and you can pop that into your fridge, or if you live in New England like I do, you can pop that on your porch. It's the season of porch coolers, and there is unlimited space in those coolers. Now let's make our gravy. We're going to start with 4 tablespoons of butter and 4 tablespoons of flour and make a nice roux. Then we're going to add 2 to 3 cups of our chicken stock. You can adjust this as you go if you want it to be thinner or thicker. And then whisk that together and get it up to temperature. And when it gets up to temperature, it should start to thicken up. Again, you can adjust this with more stock or more roux if you want to. Season that with salt, pepper, a pinch of our Thanksgiving herbs, thyme, rosemary, sage. Just a pinch on these herbs, not too much. There's enough flavor in here from the stock. And when it's your desired thickness, it's good to go. And this is like the most delicious gravy you can make. My fiance actually calls it liquid gold. Now it's time to make the croquettes. So we're going to take our cooled pot pie mixture and we're going to roll those into ping pong sized balls and set them aside. We'll then run these guys through standard breading procedure, flour, egg, breadcrumbs. You can also bread these guys in leftover stuffing if you're feeling adventurous. I would just dry the stuffing out in the oven, grind it up, and then use it in place of the breadcrumbs. That would be very delicious, I would imagine. We're going to get some oil heated up to 350, and then we're going to just use a spider to safely drop these ping pong balls into the fryer oil until they are nice and golden brown. And once they're golden brown, you can eat them immediately if you want. I'm going to actually set them aside on a sheet tray, and then I'm going to fire them off in the oven so they are nice and warm when the guests arrive. Once they do, I'm going to plate them up, really simple, with my cranberry sauce, my turkey gravy, and some chives in there to make it look nice. And that's it, guys. This dish is really Thanksgiving in a fried dish. If you're looking for something simple, if you're going to use your leftovers up, these are both good options. So give it a try. As always, thanks for watching, and happy Thanksgiving.